Hello Art Beaters, Becky here for artbeats.com, and I've got a brand new video for you today. Today I'm going to be sharing skull jewelry inspiration, and I will be sharing how to make some fun skull rings with simple wire techniques and some gluing. So there's going to be a lot of spooky inspiration today, so let's dive in. All right, so we have skulls today, skulls and skeletons, spooky skeletons. We have a lot of great skull offerings at artbeads.com, whether it's pendants, beads, charms. We've even got some great kits, so let's dive in. Let's take a look at these. All of these jewelry tutorials that you see here are available on our website. Most of them are design studio tutorials, so you will find free instructions and a supplies list for making them at artbeads.com, and I do have links for those. Some of them are kits, and I will be making some fun new rings today to share some even more skull inspiration. So let's start with these fun earrings that actually look really good with my shirt here. These are like subtle skulls because the chain is actually where the skull style comes in. Also, check out my little nails. They've got little ghosts on them, and I've got some moons and stars as well, and the ghosts glow in the dark. So I am on spooky theme here today. I think they're so cute. So the chain is skulls, actually, cute little skull dangles. I love these, especially for making cute little earrings. You just need a little short length of chain to create some fun little tassels for your earrings. I paired it with some pumpkin orange colors here for these fun little subtly spooky earrings. So cute. I love this skull chain too, and the skulls have so much character. If you take a look at it up close, just so sweet. Love that. So really great skull chain, looks cute in little dangles like this. You can also use it for a full-length design. This is a necklace that, oh, I can't remember if I made this or Jen. I want to say Jen made this. We're so alike with our designs sometimes. We were having a lot of fun with this skull chain when we were designing with it. We made a bunch of stuff with it. So super cute. This full necklace is made with the skull chain. And again, just because it's such a fun kind of jangly dangly chain, we had to add some dangles to it with some pretty crystal in orange and black colors. So the skull chain. Yes, we've got some spooky skull Halloween jewelry today. Hello. And I will be sharing how to make some skull rings in a little bit after I show off some inspiration from our design studio. Also have some great skull beads. Our Prestige Crystal skull bead is so cool. It looks super edgy, super glam, super rock and roll. I used it here with these iridescent green crystal pearls and some fun matching bicone colors. I just added the skull on one side for a little bit of a different look, a little bit of an asymmetrical style, and then just this fun kind of, I don't know, diagonal shaped bead over here. Super fun design. I just love that little skull style on one side, and I think he goes so well with that kind of spooky, elegant green color. So really loving that. And he's kind of subtle too. Like from afar, you might not notice that was a skull. It's not until you start like looking at the details of the piece that you realize, oh, there's a little spooky skull in there. So that's a super fun one that just adds a little bit of spooky in your designs. We do also have some great Raven's Journey check glass sugar skull beads, and these are available in a variety of colors. I'm not sure if this exact color is available right now, but we do have some really great colors available on our website. So these are beads, so the stringing hole runs through vertically through, and then they are flat, but the design is on both sides. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with that. They're really fun to pair with festive colors, like other check glass colors, like these earrings. Got some fire polished beads in there, some forget-me-not flowers with all kinds of fun dangles and really fun colors, really Day of the Dead looking. Yeah, the Prestige Skull Bead is awesome. Not usually my jam, but I'm loving it. Yeah, I like that skull bead too, the Prestige Crystal Skull, because it is a little bit subtle. Like if you're kind of leaning towards trying the skulls, the Prestige Crystal Skull is a good place to start because it is kind of just a subtle look. You might not tell from afar that it's a skull, but then once you get up close and see all those cool details, this is a really amazingly detailed bead actually. And it's three-dimensional, so it does have that skull look, but from afar it just has that pretty sparkly look of crystal. So that's a super fun one. Love the sugar skulls, lots of different colors available for those. I also love Anna Bronze, has the most amazing skull pendants in incredible colors. So I definitely had to use it here for this focal, and it's kind of hard to, there we go. I used it with the Anna Bronze branches and flowers, and then some fun leaf chain that dangles like the skull chain does. And I just love this piece. It reminds me of like just an ancient like grave where it's kind of been like reclaimed by nature. So cool and so elegant too. And then there's that spooky skull at the center, and I love the spirals on it. And this one is great because there's so many different connection points. You've got a loop down here, loops to the side, and then another big loop at the top here. And you could even use like these holes in the design as a stringing point as well. So all kinds of places to connect to this skull, which really inspired all the looping, draping, dangling that I've got going on here. And again, I used those iridescent green pearls because they match so well with the brass components and then that green skull. And I've even got some flowers in there. Super cute. So I really like this piece. Epic is right. It did kind of turn out epic. It looks like something you could wear like as a forest witch to the Ren Fair maybe too. It's a really fun piece. I do love how this one turned out, and I love that leaf chain in there with the skull. And those Anna Bronze skulls are available in a few different colors. So there's purple, I think there's some pink options. They're really vibrant colors too. You can see how that green just pops in the design. And look at the clasp I used on this one, a fun little, it's kind of like lizardy or dragony. Super fun, that patina color. So super, really pretty necklace there with the Anna Bronze skull. We also have Prestige Crystal Skull flatbacks, which I'm feeling really creative about. All kinds of different things you could do. Look how sparkly these are. All kinds of different things you could do with these. They are that classic skull shape, and they are flat on the back. So you can glue these onto a variety of surfaces. I was playing around today with some components that we have. I've got this great Nun Design flat tag pendant here. You could totally glue one of those on there. Look at that, so pretty. I think the jet color would look good on there. And we have those available in a variety of sizes, so even this smaller skull would look really nice on there. And I've got links to shop all of these different skulls in the video description as well. These little Nun Design charms, they're kind of faceted on the back but then flat on the front or flat on the back, whichever way you want to use them. For my purpose, I would use the flat part for the front and glue on a skull flat back. Look how cute that would be for some dangly earrings. That would be a really fun design to add some skull style. You could use epoxy adhesive, 2-part epoxy adhesive. I think even E6000 would work really well. They're just really nice skull flatbacks. You could even glue them onto a ring. I think one of the ring options that we have on the website has just a flat circle front on it. You could totally glue one of these guys on there and have a really cool ring. Wouldn't that be fun? Or something like this, just glue it on. Yeah, that would be such a fun ring. A crystal skull ring, how cool is that? So really loving the Prestige Crystal Skull flatbacks. There's a lot you can do with those, and we have some fun options. The Crystal AB is just so sparkly and fun. Glam skull. Pretty. And then we do have some kits as well if you want to just get started right away with the skull style. This is a really fun kit that we offer at artbeads.com. Skull tassel earrings. I love that fun little skull at the top with the tassel. We've even incorporated some beads into the tassel. Makes this really great kind of Day of the Dead look. Would be good for Halloween as well. You could swap out the skull if you wanted to make it a little less spooky and then save those skulls for another project. Those are really great skull beads, or just make the kit as is. Super pretty. I love that design, and I love the colors on it. The purples and oranges look really good with that bone color of the skulls. Super fun. So that's a kit you can find on our website as well. And then I was playing around with making rings, because I've seen that skull rings are very popular. I've definitely made, like, I've used epoxy clay and embedded one of these prestige crystal skulls into it in the past, and I did something crazy. I don't think I have it anymore, but I put like spike beads coming out of it and different crystal pieces to make this really big, bold, like punk rock skull ring, and that turned out really cool. So I was thinking of other ways to make skull rings, because they're really fun just to add in as a fun little edgy pop of style. And these bezel rings work really well with the prestige crystal skulls. They kind of fit in there wonderfully. So there's a couple different ways you can go about this. For this one, what I did was I added my E6000. You can see that there's a little bit of a ring in the center of this bezel. I added a little bit of E6000 in the center of that, placed my skull, and then used my chain nose pliers to kind of bend those bezel edges down around the skull. And I think that turned out pretty nice. He's so cute. So that's a really fun, oh yeah, that's so cool, that skull ring. Look, you can also do some simple wire wrapping for this. So I did the same here with this clear crystal skull. What I did, I can show you with this bigger piece, is I just cut 6 to 8 inches of wire and brought it through the stringing hole of this bead and then folded it down so that it came down below the skull, and then placed it into the center of the bezel so the wire was coming out of the center of that bezel, and then wrapped one end on this side of the ring shank and wrapped the other end on this side of the ring shank. And that worked pretty well too. And you can fold over the bezel edges for this one if you want as well. If you're a little shy about gluing, a little hesitant, this is a good one to try. You can always cut the wire and try again if you don't like it. That looks really good too. I like how these they kind of stick up in your style. So you can do that with these bigger pieces as well. So I will show you how to do that with the wire. I've got 22 gauge artistic wire here today. 22 gauge is a really nice gauge to work with. 24 gauge you could work with too. That's going to be a little bit thinner, a little bit more flexible. I like the 22 gauge because it's a little sturdier than 24 gauge, so it holds that bold skull in place really well, but it's still flexible enough to work with. So I've got more than enough wire than I need here. Again, 6 to 8 inches would probably be your best bet. I'm going to center my skull right there on the wire, and then fold that wire down like this to the back of his head here, the back of his cranium, just like that. So he's kind of poking out from the top of the wire fold. And then I'm going to bring those wire ends down through the center of this ring bezel. They fit so well in here. It's really nice. Kind of just position him where you want him. I like to hold him like that. Now this ring is a little different. It's because it's so big, it's got two shanks at the top. This one only has one, so I really only had to wrap around the one side. For this one, I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I've got my wires coming out through here, and I'm going to coil it around the edge of that. You want to make sure it's nice and tight, and you can use your pliers for this as well. Pliers help you grip it better, and that will help you to pull that wire tight too, to make sure it's really in place. So I started it with my fingers. I'm going to finish with my pliers. You can kind of position your guy as you go. So I'm just going to do a couple coils there. And then because I wrapped on this side, I think I'm going to wrap on this side here, just to kind of keep things even, I guess. So there's not too much wire on one side of the piece, if you know what I mean. Again, you could go the glue route for this one too. Add glue to the inside edges of that bezel and then fold the prongs down around. This is a fun one because it has kind of a crown shape, which I think works really well with the skull motif. And I'm just going to wrap that around a little bit more, use my pliers to kind of reach between those ring shanks there. There we go, pulling tight. And you can coil that wire as much as you like. 2 or 3 coils is good. With just this amount of coils, you can barely see them on the edges of your ring. And I'm just giving my coils a nice little pinch so they're all close together. We kind of did that last week when I was showing you some wire wrapping. Just give them a nice little pinch on the edges. Yeah, that looks so good. And now he's nice and in place, really nice in place. And then what you can do from here, I'm gonna trim my wire ends. I had more than enough, as I said before. I like to cut more than I think I'll need, just in case. You never know, like, what you're gonna do with your wire. You might decide to get more intricate. You could even do a fun, like, if you're really into wire working, you could even do a fun, like, zigzaggy pattern there between those two wire shanks if you were feeling really creative with your wire. And then what I like to do for these is I kind of like to fold these bezel edges down close to the skull to kind of hold it a little more in place. And these ones should move pretty nicely. So what I do is I kind of just grip my pliers closed like this and then kind of give them a push. You can see it kind of gets them down towards the skull to kind of hold that guy in place a little bit more, so he doesn't wiggle as much. Just give it a little push. Firm but gentle, because you don't want to scratch your crystal or anything. And you can even try this way. Yeah, like take the bottom nose kind of angled under and then push that way. That'll give you a little more leverage. We can do that on the other side as well. Just to keep everything in place. Just like that. There we go. Give him a nice little adjust. There, I love the size of that one too. That one is like super big, super rock and roll. Loving that. Look at that. So cool. Yeah. Very cool. So that's a fun way of adding those prestige crystal skulls to some fun little bezel rings. You could do some wire wrapping techniques too with the sugar skull beads. I think you could easily wrap this guy onto just a simple ring band like this. You could even make your own wire wrapped ring. So kind of wrap your wire around this bead and then create the shank out of wire as well. And we do have videos for how to do that on our YouTube channel, Art Beads Videos, and on our website. I can link you to that for sure, because that would also be a really cute ring. Like I said before, you could also glue these skull flatbacks to a ring as well. I also think doing some wrapping techniques with other pieces other than rings would be really fun. I think this kind of fun long bar pendant, you could wrap this on there and that would look so cool. You could wrap it in the center of a hoop like this one or a bead frame. That would be a really fun way of showcasing your skull. Again, gluing is another option. Glue something like this right onto the top of a flat pendant. Let's try wrapping this guy to this fun kind of bar pendant. This is a Nun Design little bar pendant with a loop at the top, so that one would be really fun to wrap it to. And I think because this bead has some gold on it, I will use my gold wire. This is 24 gauge artistic wire in gold. Let me find the end there. This wire got a little bit tangly. There we go. Cut some. I won't need too terribly much because again, I'm just coiling the bead onto the top of this bar pendant. So much fun. I love skulls. They're so cool. They just instantly add some fun edginess to whatever piece you're adding them to. So for this one, I'm kind of holding it in place and it's going to be a little squirrely until you get it just the way you want it. And then I'm just gonna coil this wire right around the top of that. And then do the same on the other end. So just looping and coiling it around. And 24 gauge is thin enough. I can easily do this with my fingers and then just give him a little nudge so he's shaped and in place. Yeah, that's fun. So then you've got just a really, oh, I like how that looks. That's really cool. And I like the gold wire on the copper. So you can push him up as far as you want. You can push him to the bottom. Super cool, just little wire wrapped look. So then you've got a fun little instant pendant there. He's almost like a, oh, that's cute. He almost looks like a lollipop. Sugar skull lollipop. So super cute idea there. If you want to wire wrap something onto a focal like this, you could try something similar with a bead frame here. You could even just add this guy to a head pin and then boom, you've got a great pendant that way. So all kinds of different ways you could showcase skulls in your designs. They're so much fun to work with. I can't wait to try out some of these crystal skull flatbacks as well. I wonder if these would work in one of these rings. Let's see. They might be like the wrong shape for this particular ring bezel. It'd be kind of fun to play around with it. Maybe if you had something flat to put in there, you could glue it. Oh, that would look really cool. Wouldn't that be neat? Oh man, so cool. You would have to find something flat to put in there and then glue it on top. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to play around with that because that black color on that silver ring setting, that just looks awesome. So definitely have to play around with that. Even maybe like some bead backing in there, that would work. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll glue some bead backing in here and then glue the crystal skull flat back on top. Oh, so cool. That's gonna look great. Really fun. So all kinds of different ways you can make skull rings to really just spice up your style, whether it's Halloween or you just like skulls, you want to add a little bit of edginess to your jewelry. I love a good skull, and I like playing with epoxy clay and skull too. I told you about my ring. I also made a crystal skull necklace, and I made a little epoxy clay Mickey Mouse ears. Oh yeah, put clay in the bezel here. That's a great idea. I'll do clay in the bezel and then embed the crystal skull flatback. Duh, thank you, Beverly. That's such a good idea. Here I am talking about clay and I'm not even realizing I could use it for this design that I've got here. Thank you, Beverly. But I did, with another idea with epoxy clay is I shaped it like little Mickey Mouse ears on the top of the skull head, and then I added little flatbacks, little chatons, so that the Mickey Mouse ears would be blingy, just like the skull. So that was kind of fun. That was a little funny little piece that I made. I enjoyed that. Yay, I'm so glad. Hi, Connie, and your birthday was October 15th. Happy birthday. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you love beading. Maybe after today, you'll love adding skulls to your beading. So fun. So we have lots of different skull options here at artbeads.com. You can find all of these. I've got links to everything, all kinds of different ways you can take this skull style, whether you want a little more subtle and sophisticated, dramatic and epic, a little bit spooky, a little bit colorful, a little bit edgy. There is something for you. You're going to have a lot of fun thinking up different ways to design those skulls. And let me know in the comments what you like to, how do you like to use your skulls? And thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that it was spooky, inspiring, and helpful. Please make sure to leave a like and a comment. We always love hearing from you. And as always, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when videos like this are out. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.